I don't think anybody ever decides that, starts out with the intention that they're going to fail, right? Everybody has this idea that I'm going to achieve greatness. I'm going to do all of these amazing things. And that ebb and flow of an entrepreneur, the good and the bad, is something you need to understand is universal, right? Every single person that goes through the endeavors associated with being an entrepreneur and gets out the other side, the resilience that they have to become a high achiever really is predicated on their ability to deal with this adversity. And, for a lot of people, what that translates into is, these crises of confidence over the course of time, right? And it manifests itself in all sorts of different ways. I mean, for me, I had a horrible, horrible start in my career. My first year was horrible. I quit every single day. My second year got marginally better. But I kind of had this idea long term, like this vision that kept drawing me to continue to power through. The crisis of confidence that came across, my mind was, one is this all I'm meant to do? Like, is this what I'm meant to do? Is the market the right market? Is the timing the right timing? Is the product the right product? And just understand that if you're going through this journey, you need to embrace the fact that it's normal. Like, that your crisis of confidence is normal. I had this conversation with a young guy the other day. He was asking me, he said to me, I don't know if I believe in the product, right? I just don't, people aren't really responsive. And what you got to figure out, is it the chicken or the egg, right? Is it that you don't believe in the product, or is it that all of the rejection and all of the excuses and all the things that you've allowed to dictate your failure, are those creeping into your psychology and keeping you from achieving the things you want to achieve? I talked to this guy about a week ago. I was playing golf, which I rarely ever do because I play it once a year just to remind myself that I hate golf. I usually smoke a cigar at the same time because I hate that too. I was playing golf, and my caddy was an ultra marathoner. And we got in this conversation. I was really interested in what happens to the body psychologically as you go through that journey. And he had shared with me that on the trek, right, so 22, 23, 24 hours into it, you go through this full cycle of emotions. Some of the emotions are joy and adulation, and some are completely the opposite, right? He talked to me about that he got to a point 22 hours into a 28-hour race, and he became depressed. He started to cry, uncontrollably cry, right? Like snot coming out of his face. Like, this guy was completely demoralized. And then 5 minutes later, he like is on a downhill, and he's happy as can be. And this is no different as a salesperson, right? As a salesperson, the interesting thing is, if you make 300 phone calls or 300 approaches and you don't get any good results, right? Every single person rejects you, you feel like an abject failure. But interestingly enough, if you just fail 292 times and you have 8 successful interactions, the difference is you'll feel like $1 million, because those 8 interactions, are going to turn into revenue. It's going to turn into profit. And the problem that most salespeople have is they only make 17 calls. They only make 22 calls, and they never get to that place where volume can work to their advantage. And so you got to ask yourself, like, is what I'm feeling right now, is it a byproduct of the adversity that I'm feeling, or is it a sincere, genuine, like, self-aware, I no longer believe that the market dictates, that the market is receptive to my message, or that my product meets that need, or that the compensation, the money I can make from it is warranted? Like, you just got to know, is it psychological resistance to becoming a high achiever? In which case, if you just keep powering through, you're going to get there? Or is it legitimately time to pull the plug? And man, that's the difference between winners and those that settle for mediocrity. I think you just got to keep pushing.